about that. Okay, I started recording. So, so as I said, you can rotate with the middle mouse button and zoom in, zoom out with scrolling the middle mouse button, and shift left and right to pan around the scene. And this is a cursor. You can see this is a cursor. So the cursor is very important. It's in the 3D view. So if you press Shift A on your keyboard, so there are many options you can have. So let me say that I want to go for mesh and I want to add a cube or maybe a cylinder or icosphere. So let me add a cylinder. So it is going to add where the 3D cursor is. It is not going to add at the center of the scene. So wherever you are pointing the 3D cursor, it will add object to that location. Is that clear? Icosphere. So how do I reset the 3D cursor position? Is Shift C on your keyboard. I mean, you can write it down while I talk because it's easy to forget the shortcut keys. So Shift A to get this the scene. Shift A, Shift and A. Okay, are you able to do that? Someone respond. Chantira?
Yes, we can do
Yeah.
it.
Okay, good. Shift A. So if I want to reset the 3D cursor position to where the center of the world, then we have to press Shift C. Okay, again you can note it down, Shift C. So that will move to the 3D mouse cursor to the center. Now if I add object to the scene, Shift A, let me add a monkey head. That's called Suzanne in Blender. So monkey, I can add that. So that is going to be, it's hiding and it is basically in the center, okay, because this is obscuring. So the other thing is that if you want to select an object in Blender, you click on the object. Left click won't select the object. Left click is going to move the 3D cursor position only. So if you want to select an object,
annoying.
Patrick Jason?
Yeah, I found that really annoying.
Which one is annoying?
The left click, moving the 3D cursor.
Mm-hmm. Why in other software that you told you use 3D software, right? What software was that last week?
I just reset the preference in Blender. I sent it to right click is move the 3D cursor, left click is select. It's just easier for me. But if we don't want to go through all the redoing keybinds and things, then we don't have to. I just found that very annoying.
Yeah, initially I too found annoying, but later I found that is very useful actually. I did also reset that before when I started Blender, but now I find this is much. I know why they are using this kind of. They don't want you to select objects accidentally, so they right click. They use right click.
No, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. So. So what software you're using, Patrick Jason? Yesterday, day before yesterday, you told something I forgot. 3D software.
The one I was actually taught was Autodesk Maya.
Okay.
And then but that was years and years ago, like over 4 years ago. So I use Blender more recently, and I know more about Blender than I ever learned about Maya.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Blender, I use Blender. Okay. Right. So if I want to select an object, I select this one. And if I want to delete the object, you cannot press delete. Delete won't mean delete will delete actually. And you can press X on your keyboard. So delete also works. I thought it doesn't work. I use X on the keyboard to delete. So I right select an object. So if I right select an object, that is my currently active object. So that comes with the orange line. So if I want to right select, I right select and I delete the delete. You can use X on the keyboard to delete it, and it is going to ask for confirmation. Then you can delete the object on the scene. Okay. So if I select this object, cube, shift. Not shift. What is it called? X on the keyboard. I'm going to select delete that. Now we have the monkey head, right? So this is, if you remember, this is a flat shading model. So here, one, how they flat shading and smooth shading actually. This is less number of vertices, so this is more like a, it's not smooth. Okay, you can see that is, we'll discuss about that. So let me just scale this object, right? Select it, and scale is yes on your keyboard. If you want to scale in all axis, press yes. If you want to scale only in the x axis, yes, x, and I can scale in the x axis alone. Yes, x will scale in the x axis, right? So yes, y will scale in the y axis. And if I want to scale uniformly, if I don't want to scale, I just written like that. So if I want to scale uniformly, press yes on the keyboard. This is going to do the uniform scaling. All right. Let me see the message. He is not going to have any hat. You have to create the hat.
Why, but it looks like you see it, right? It looks like, yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. Okay. And this one you have to, because in 3D it's difficult to move position, because then you have to go to the views. Actually, if your keyboard, I can switch from, so this is 2, I press the keyboard. So this is going to be user perspective. 5 is user ortho. You can see that it's changing user ortho, and 4 is user ortho, and I think I forgot actually to go. This is a camera perspective. This is 0. If you press the 0, so the camera is looking onto the scene. Okay. I just don't want to confuse with too many options. You can select from the view also. So if I want to see from um right side of this, because this is orthographic view. So this is the top view. Let me go to the top view. So view, top view, and this is from the top. So if you see from the top, what you're going to see, you're going to see this, right? From, if you're flying from the aircraft, flying in the aircraft, you see that you are going to see your city in the top view, right? So you're on the top of the, or in the sky. So it's like, or you are on the sky and looking down. So you're going to see an object like that. Are you able to see this view? Any questions?
Professor?
Go ahead.
I'm not sure what I did, but my monkey head's in a wireframe now.
Okay, that is because you did, you pressed tab on your keyboard.
Okay.
And press tab on selected object, press tab on the keyboard. That's going to go to the edit mode. So, or you can select from here object mode. If I want to go for the edit mode, I can go to edit mode, and I can break this. Go ahead.
Might have, if that's not it, right next to where he was clicking edit mode, you see that white circle? That's it defaults to material view, but you can change it to wireframe and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
maybe you
Okay.
accidentally hit that if it's not edit mode.
Okay, yeah, that's what I did. Thank you.
Yeah, the wireframe shaded mode is there, and texture mode, material mode. So solid mode is the one, and I can edit mode. So object mode is this one, right? So I can go to the edit mode, and I can go zoom in. I can maybe I can adjust the grab one of the vertices. I can make the eyebrow a little bit more pointy, right? I can select a vertex and I can make it more pointy, right? So I can modify this object however I want. I can add, I can smoothen, I can take a vertex. In edit mode you can edit the object, you know, like this. One of the beautiful things about Blender is that you can see all the commands, because when you write code, I'm going to teach you small code, but you can see what are the functions that is being called, you know. So you can see all this. Let me delete this monkey head. How do you delete? A on the keyboard, A to select all, and X for delete. Sorry, I'm in the edit mode. I cannot delete in the edit mode. I have to go to the object mode, and A on the keyboard to select this object, X, and delete. I'm going to delete it. So the 3D cursor is somewhere not in the scene. I'm going to move back the 3D cursor. I'm going to press Shift C on the keyboard. Shift and C to move your 3D cursor to the origin or to the center of the world. Okay. See, let me just add. So Shift A, let me add a cube or a torus. Let me add a torus. Okay, you can see how the torus code looks like. I mean, if you, I don't know how many of you did this. It was hiding. Okay, you had to go on the top. You had to you have this double cursor. I mean, double arrow this stuff, and you have to pull it down. Then you can see the command. Okay, bpy. I can see what are the things I'm doing. So all the commands, these are all in Python. Okay, bpy stands for Blender Python, and OPS, I don't know, it's an object. I don't know what is OPS stands for, but this is the command bpy.ops.mesh.primitive underscore torus add. These are the parameters. Location is at the origin, and this, I mean, many options are there. Rotations is there. Then minor axis, major axis, and these are very useful. You can select this, and you can how do I select this? You can select, right click and select this, and Control C, and you can go and paste this code. You can select, you can paste this in the scripting, and you can do it. I will tell you how to do that, but at least you should be able to do this. Are you able to follow me, Shantira?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I follow you.
Okay. All right.
But my version is 2.9 because it's not support my computer, so
Okay. Maybe some of the things are going to be this one,
yeah,
right?
it's kind of different. So I just.
I mean, I had to practice myself. You know, I didn't use Blender for a long time. After 3 years, I'm using Blender now. So I used in 2015. So I mean, I just want to tell today, and I will write code. Okay, this is not a complicated software. As it looks, it is very easy only. Only a lot of people gets confused because they try to left select the object. It's annoying. Your 3D cursor only moves. You have to right and select the object. Okay, right click and select the object. And I'm working in this layer. I can move the object to this. This is another layer. I mean, you can have many layers, and there is like M option is there that is going to move the object to a different layer. We don't have to do that. I mean, but we will work with a single layer. Okay, and we can create new scenes as well. We can create new scene. This is one scene in 3.js. You have seen, right? But where is my camera? I deleted my camera. By default, the camera, I selected everything and deleted my camera. So the camera is not there. Let me open a new Blender file so that it comes with the camera. So this is a camera, right? So camera also, if you want to select the camera, this is a camera, right? So if you want to look through the camera, so I want to look through the camera, then I can press numpad. You have numpad, not 0. It's a numpad. If you don't have numpad, then it's a problem. I don't know how to do it. You can figure that out. If you press 0 on the keyboard, so this is the point of view from the camera, how your object looks like. Is that clear? You're looking in that way, right? I can move the camera because camera is looking at. If I press, let me pull that down. If I press N on the keyboard, N is for the properties. If I press N on the keyboard, there's an option called lock camera to the view. I mean, if you move the cursor now, it will break the camera, so it is going to come out of that. So it is not locking the camera to the view. So again, I press 0. If I want to lock the camera to the view, press N on the keyboard. So this is the toggle one, N, N, N. Okay, letter N. N for Nancy. Okay, N. So N on the keyboard, and here lock camera to view option will be there. So if I lock camera to the view, then here I can move. I actually am moving the camera. I'm zooming in and zooming out. I want to look like this. The camera has been moved, so the camera is moved further, and I can disable this. And if I press 0 on the keyboard, the camera is moved somewhere far. You know. So you are looking the object through the camera, right? So that is. Are you understanding this point here? If I want to press 0 on the keyboard, I want to move closer to the objects. First, you have to lock camera to the view. otherwise it is going to break. So I can now, the camera is zooming in, so you are seeing this part of the scene, okay? And then I can break from the camera, so your camera is very close to the object. Are you able to do this?
Yes.
Okay. Then what else? You can, like we did in Tuesday's class, we can rotate the camera in the circle. We can animate the camera too. So let me, I mean, then you have to do motion path animation, which actually I had to play with it. Let me just, first right click the cube, okay? Or let us go for the, let's delete this, okay? Press X on the keyboard, delete. I will add the monkey head, Suzanne. I don't know why they call Suzanne. So Suzanne is there, right? And press, I want to show you one more stuff, okay? Go to the edit mode, okay? Edit mode is here, or you can press tab on the keyboard, and there is an option here. If you go down, the N is pressed, okay, the property N, the property window is coming. Here I can see if I display face normal. So this is the point I was talking about in the last class, right? So this object has face normal. See, for every face, there's, what is the normal? Normal is a perpendicular to the surface, right? So are you able to see the face normals, guys?
Yes.
Are you able to see? Patrick, Jason?
Yes, we are able to see.
Okay. So it is here, okay? We told, right? I told how to calculate the normal. What is the normal? We studied that, right? Normal, why it is used? It's used for lighting, shading, and for for those things we need to know the normal. See, the normal is perpendicular to the surface, so it is like coming from all these directions. So this is a face normal. I think the other option is that you can also display the vertex normal. So if you go here, I can display the vertex normal as well. So that is going to come from the vertices. So it is going to come from the vertices. You can see that, right? So this is vertex normal. So you can explore that option, and press T on the keyboard toolbar, and here I think okay, go back to the object mode, click object mode, or you can press tab on the keyboard. So it is going to switch to the object mode, and here this is the flat shading we have, okay, flat shading. But if I want it more smooth, the object becomes more smooth, okay, smooth shading. You can see that now the object is more smooth. If I go to the edit mode, and you can still see the face normal, but the object is more smooth. Before it was not smooth, right? So before it was, we can still make the object more smooth by adding modifiers. The subdivision modifier is there. There are a lot of options. I just don't want to overwhelm you so many things in one class. But are you able to follow until this point? Any questions? Smooth shading, flat shading. This is smooth shading, okay? If I want to have another monkey head, I press this object, right click, so the orange is selected. Shift D on the keyboard, press Shift D, and then move. You're going to move, get another monkey head. Shift D, the selected object, move the monkey head. You can get many monkey heads. Okay, Shift D, move the monkey head. You're going to get the monkey head. Are you able to do this Shift D operation?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what happens if I ask you to place monkey head around a circle? What you're planning to do? How you're planning to do? Chantida?
What is your question again?
I'm asking you to place this monkey
Uh-huh.
in a circle, along the circle, around a circle. This is in a straight line, right? How we are going to do that?
Duplicate link.
Duplicate is fine. Then how you're going to rotate the object, maybe a little bit. I mean, rotate R for rotation, and you have to place manually the monkey head and shift D, and but you are and go. Are you planning to do this way? Manually
No.
place? No, you have to write code, right? If you do write code, you can use x is equal to r cosine theta, y is equal to r sine theta, right? Remember, we place the cubes along a circle. So same way you can write code. So that's why we have to know scripting for Blender. If you do scripting for Blender, you can do a lot of things faster.
One question about scripting.
Mhm.
Is it when you're scripting in Python for Blender, is it specialized in Blender?
Yep, it is only for you
Oh,
cannot.
okay.
It is it comes with the Blender Python package, so it is customized only for Blender. You cannot use outside Blender.
Okay.
Yep. So I will delete this. Delete is X. Okay. So if I want to make this monkey head to be larger, press S on the keyboard. I will scale uniformly and make it bigger, and leave the then click left. So this is going to be big monkey head. S on the keyboard, right? And you can see that the properties. Here Susan is the name of the monkey, and you can see the properties and adjust here. Scale, I scaled it. I can also scale this. If you don't get this menu, press N on the keyboard. Okay, N for Nancy. Press N on the keyboard. You're going to get that. So I can scale in the, maybe I want to have uniform scaling 5, 5, and 5. I can enter directly there and scale. Right? Are you able to do this? Any questions, guys? Similarly, you can use translation. You can also use them, middle left click, and I can translate the object using this also. So here location is there, right? Translate in the X direction, translate in the Y direction, and translate in the Z direction. So Z is up actually. See, Z is the blue axis. So that is up. So you can translate down or up or whatever you want. You can place the object. Are you able to do this? Dennis?
I'm gonna have to watch through the whole video again. I have all these custom mouse set things mapped, so it's gonna take me a while to fix that.
Oh, okay. So, okay. How about others?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And
mine is fine.
yours is fine. Okay. Just watch it. I mean, I will post the recorded video lecture like that. And so let us worry about this monkey head, right? Which is scaled. Now it's in the top position, in the top, in the air. There are a lot of options here. So if you click here, and this is going to render that scene from that. Render is basically, if I press render, this is how the camera is looking at, and this is how the scene is going to be from the camera point of view. And once you click render, it will go out of that one. You have to go back and click here, 3D view will come back. Okay, render is going to render. Let me just not render, just add materials. I forgot where's the materials. The material is here, right? This is the material. Okay, I can add new material, and I can say I don't know whether I talked about lampad or not. So lampad is the material here. So the material option is coming. So I mean, how did I do this? I'll do again since I was fast. Let me just delete this. Okay. So if you click on the option here, right, the camera is there. There are many options here. Okay, render layers, and this one, I have not used all the options, but again, there are options here as well. So we are not worried about this. This is add modifier. So add modifier. First, let us go to the materials. The material tab is this one, okay? And then this is, it comes with Suzanne. So we have selected this is the one. And because why I say this is the one, because orange, this is the highlighted one, right? And then I click new, and it's a diffuse material, and you can add your own texture. I forgot how to do that as well, but you can make this color. You can color this. You can have a bit of a different color for this this one. You can adjust the intensity, right? And the specular properties also, you can adjust the specular properties. And so this is specular and intensity. So you can have a little bit of this thing. And texture option is here. You can add a new texture, create a new texture, and you can if you have a texture from your this thing, you can apply. I don't know whether I have a texture. Let me search. See, are you able to follow this, at least the material property? Are you able to adjust the material property?
Yes.
Yep.
So what is does texture create like a weird set of normals so you get weird light reflection?
Texture is wrapping out, you know, if you want to have some chessboard texture or whatever, you know, it's just putting the image on the top of the model.
Oh, okay.
Is
So
that a shader or?
Shader is different. Shader is for this one, right? This is the shader. So you can, material is nothing but their shaders, you know, it's a surface
Okay.
shaders. There are, I mean, you can combine many shaders here. The subsurface scattering is there. I never use subsurface scattering, so that will make the object more like organic, I guess, because a lot of options you can explore, and you can combine. I use different way actually. I use compositing, I think. I go to compositing, the menu here, and use nodes. So, and render layers, and backdrop. I mean, don't do this. No, don't do this. I'm experimenting myself. Okay, I forgot. I usually mix shaders in this one. I don't do that.
You want to go to the material on your rightmost window. You have scene currently selected. Go to materials, the materials tab. No, not there.
There's a
On
material.
on your rightmost screen, your rightmost bar. Keep going. Keep going.
Here.
There. Select the materials tab.
Oh, okay. Materials tab. Okay. All
And
right.
then I'm not sure. I've never used nodes for materials in the Blender render. I've always used cycles.
Renders. Okay. Let me just select cycles render.
And then see where it says surface, use nodes.
Use nodes, yes.
And then I don't know what you did. You're gonna have to get it to change the node screen to the materials one, and then you should be able to edit it.
Use nodes. I mean, I think this should be the materials. No. This.
There you go. You found it.
That's okay. So I can combine shaders. I can you can watch that object here also. So here the object is here somewhere placed here, right? Camera perspective is different. Let me move to the camera. So this is the one, 0 if you press, right? I can combine different shaders, Shift D and Shift D duplicate, and maybe I can change. I don't want to duplicate. Shift A, and then input you can shader. So let me add a shader, glossy BSDF or emission or glossy or glass. Okay, and then I can mix this Shift A And what is the way to mix the shader? What is the, do you know, Patrick, Jason?
You're right there. See that menu in the right under holdout, mix shader,
Mix shader.
right above principled BSDF. It's in the menu you currently have open, so just move your mouse over to the right a little bit. Note that was the left. So
okay, I mean, I got you. I mean, I can type actually mix shader. Okay, this way.
there you go. Yeah.
So this way I can mix these two shaders. Then I get the different output. So I can change the color of this. Something I'm using same color. And but it is not, I don't see any changes here. Maybe I'm not.
You're going to have to change. Okay, so in the rightmost bottom window, you're currently in solid mode. You want to be in material mode if you want it to reflect the changes you make to the material in the actual scene view.
Okay, so here it is, not here.
In the scene view where it says object mode and you got all your, you've got Suzanne, the big Suzanne.
You mean here, right? Where I'm
No,
pointing?
to the right, to the right.
To the right, okay.
Down, to the right and down, down. So that window there, right next to object mode.
Oh, okay, got it.
Select no, not edit. The one right next to it, the little white circle. Select material instead of solid.
Okay, I got it.
And then once you use, once you have it render the scene, it should show you the material.
Okay, yeah. So I can, this connection, I can also see the color. Maybe I can change to red. Now I can see whether it is. Yeah, now I can see the changes. So this is red. I can combine many different shaders. Okay, so this color I can, okay, and get out. Use nodes is a good idea. I mean, a lot of students might have get confused here. Here also shift here option. So don't worry about this. You can watch this video lecture. So my primary objective is not to teach this, okay? But this is another way you can mix shaders. So you got it. So watch this. You know, use nodes. You have to press use nodes, and then here, as he said, that you have to be in this material mode. And let me place this Suzanne. I mean, let me break out of this view. I mean, I will go to the 3D full view, not 3D full view, default view, default view, and I will move this down. I can reset the position to be 0, 0, 0, so that it's at the center of the scene, right? Center. Okay, now it is in the center. Now where's the camera? Did I delete the camera? 0. Let me press 0. So this is the camera looking at. Okay. Okay, so this is the camera. So let me see, this is the camera. Now we have attached this. Now we can render and see the final output, how it looks like. Okay, I mean, these things you can, the final output you will be able to see only when you render. So it's coming as, when you mix the shade, it's coming as green color. So this is how the object is going to look like. Okay. So this is the final output, and this is the camera that is looking. So if I want to switch to 3D view, can go to 3D view and this one. So you have to render it to see the final output. And can also select, if you GPU compute rather than CPU for rendering, you can use GPU for rendering if you have GPU. So let me just let me see if I can apply texture, because these are the things I did long time back. I don't remember. So press 0 on the keyboard, so let's go to the normal view, right? So what I want to tell is that what I want you to tell is add texture, right? So let me download a texture from internet. I will maybe grass texture, something different. So grass texture, maybe this texture is better. I can download this, save link as. If it doesn't work, I have to see why it doesn't work. This is not an HD. I want an image file. Save image as grass. I'll save in the desktop. Let me see if I can get you the texture. Okay, if you go here, if I go here, this is the texture menu. Are you able to see this? Right? This is a material, right? This is a material. So we use cycles render. Okay, there are different types of rendering here. So Blender render, Blender game. So cycles render generally that is we use to, when you want to combine different shaders, we use cycles render. So the cycle, you can select cycles render. So this one is for the texture, I suppose. Create new, and this is asking for texture material. So I will type this image or movie, and I can open the texture from where I saved. So it should be in the desktop. How do I go traverse to the desktop? While open image, open. C colon is coming, but I cannot go up. Okay, let me not.
It's on your left. System bookmarks, desktop. Under right now you're on your C drive. All the way to your left on the left-hand side under
Okay. Okay.
system
Right.
bookmarks and desktop.
Okay, here it is. Okay. Let me just grass sample, but I'm not able to. The texture is not applied. Should I go to the texture view? I'm in the texture view. This texture is applied, but why I'm not able to see the texture? This is not, the texture is not applied. Patrick, Jason, you know why the texture is not applied? Did I make a mistake?
I've never done a texture that way. The only time I've really done a texture, I've had to surface map. Like I actually painted it on the surface.
Usually,
you might have to go to something maybe instead of object mode, go to texture mode. Texture paint at the top, and then try painting the texture on the object. See, now you have a brush. Try painting it, and maybe that's. I'm not sure.
No, actually, it should apply directly. I don't know. I'm making some mistake. I never use texture paint, so let me not. But usually, it should apply the texture, to the object. I'm not sure why it's not been applied. You can see that it should be grassy kind of monkey, but I'm not getting that. I'll check. I will tell you in the next class. I can check and I'll tell you in the next class. That so far, this is one. And go ahead.
If you could do like a node, the node view, you can add an image texture, and you can connect that node to the shader, and then to the material output.
You are going to ask me to do compositing?
Oh no! Oh yeah. So if you click add,
Shift A, add,
and it's gonna be, I think it's texture.
Coordinates.
Oh no! Go to texture or add. If it says image texture, and then just add. Yep, and then just open the grass.
Okay.
And then connect that color to shader to yep. And then it should be the surface.
This is surface material.
Or yeah. And then is it the grass or it's not?
That's a grass. This one is grass.
Oh, okay. That should do it. Unless it's a different shader, I'm not sure.
No, you disconnect all the shaders.
Oh, okay.
So I just apply the texture. So it should, I can disable this. How do you disable this? This is okay. I will press X on the keyboard. Maybe I'll connect this to the surface. I'm not able to get that.
It's just because of the fact. So if you put it on Surface, Blender by default doesn't waste the CPU and GPU processing power to actually give you an accurate representation of your texturing. So if you click render, it should show up as the grass. Maybe not.
You're supposed to connect the color dot to the shader, like where it says image texture and in color. Put that color to that diffuse BSDF.
Color.
That makes sense.
Oh, I know what he's saying. At the top, the diffuse BSDF node, you have the color currently set to green. Plug the image texture color to that color node. Connect the image texture and the diffuse nodes.
Image texture and the diffuse nodes.
Yeah, the yellow to yellow. Color to color.
Color to color.
Yeah.
You're asking
image, yep, one more up, and then connect the BSDF to the surface of the material output. There you go. Now try rendering again.
See.
There you go. That's better.
Yeah. How was the texture looking like? It was looking like green, but still it's up like a uniform green. That's what I don't know. No, okay. I will check that.
But yeah, that's what I did, and that's pretty much it's showing the texture that I inputted as an image.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not at all really, other than the image texture workaround and UV mapping, I don't really know much about applying textures.
The texture I haven't applied as well. So materials I have applied, but texture is something I'm experimenting today. So this is movie sequence, single image. These are all fine image texture. This node is fine, so I don't have any problem. That's fine. So, but okay, let me just let me go to the default view. Go to the default view. See, here there is a lot of view. So 3D full view is there, okay, and animation view is there, and compositing, and compositing is where you do the default view is the default. Game logic, I never use this game logic, and motion tracking is used for motion tracking. This one I've used extensively to track in a footage. I want to track particular a point or particular object in the scene. I use motion tracking. So motion tracking. Then scripting, we are going to use this from the next class. I'm going to teach you scripting, okay, on Tuesday's class. So you'll be working with that. And UV editing, I never used UV editing. And finally, video editing. So this one is for editing videos, okay. It has everything in it. So we are going to use the default one right now. And press 0, it will break from the camera view. So let it be like that, okay. And one other thing I want to tell you is that add modifier is there. So I click on add modifier, and there's something called a subdivision modifier. Subdivision surfacer or subdivision modifier? Subdivision surfaces. Is that right? Subdivision surfaces. Click that. Yes. So here Catmull Clerk. So Catmull Clerk is a scientist, and his subdivision algorithm is very famous, and it's named on him. I think Catmull Clerk is working right now in Ed Catmull. He's in Walt Disney Studios, so he's there, Catmull Clerk. So it's basically based on that. So you can still, the resolution is not good. It's not smooth. You can increase the view to a little bit too. Now the monkey looks more smooth. Okay, someone message me. Okay. I think I think it was two dudes. I don't know. Ed Catmull. Clark was different. Actually, it's two people only. It's two dudes only. Two people. Catmull and Clark. I think it's Jim Clark and Ed Catmull. So I think it's two people. Okay. And I can increase this resolution so you can get a more smooth monkey head here, right? And this is a monkey head. So if I go to edit mode, I can still this is the object mode. If I go to the edit mode, I can still fine tune, and I can add things, and I can remove this option of showing the normals. Okay. Now something you want to is there is something called as particle simulation. This one, okay. After texture, there's something called as particle system. You can click new. I like this very much. Okay, I used this. Can show you later. I like this particle simulation. And here by default there are 1,000 particles, and see, once particles are there, here there's a red line coming in. This is the animation. Okay, let me reverse it, and you can see that particles are coming from the object. It's falling. You can see that, right? I didn't do anything. What I did is that I just clicked on that and added the particle system. And here the particles, how many particles we need? 1,000 particles. Start, end, lifetime of the particles, and you can select different options. So here you have to explore different options here. So you can experiment with forces, you can experiment with the drag, and there is display, field weights, I think. Yeah, gravity, I can enable gravity. I mean, I can make the gravity as 0. Let me make the gravity as 0. In this case, what happens is the particle is not going to come out of, there is no gravity. So the particles are like floating in the air. Okay, it's like there's no gravity. So if I make the gravity 1, I'm going to get the particles falling down, and I can increase the number of particles. And these particles, if I want to render as icosphere, I will add an icosphere here. Shift A, icosphere. So I can, instead of particles coming as like a dot, okay, I can select this and then Shift A, add this icosphere, and here I can go to option, display option, I think, and render. I think, I don't know where it is. None, display. I don't know where. Field weights, group, none, halo, line, path, object. Okay, here is the object. Okay. I particularly don't know where to. I used this a lot before. Circles, it's going to come as a circles, and this is going to cross. This is going to come as a cross, and somewhere here I just can make that object to come. You know that I want to render this as a sphere falling from that object. Okay, I don't know where exactly. I forgot that option. Think it was render mode object. Okay, here it is. Okay, icosphere. Now let me run this. It is still, it is coming as this one. It's not rendering as. Okay, we don't know actually. Random size. It should. Are you able to? I mean, are you able to get the particles at least? Very easy. I will do one more time. If you're so, why particle system? Let me delete this object. I will delete everything from the scene. Shift. I mean, I will delete everything from the scene. X for deleting. X for deleting. X for deleting. I'm going to add a new object. Shift C, center. Shift A. I'm going to add a cube, and I'm going to pan this and bring to here, right? So how you add a particle system is you're going to click here. You're going to click here, selecting the object, and click here, go up. There is the particles are coming, and you can control where the particles are coming from. So it is coming from the faces. See, this is coming from the faces. The particles are emitted from the faces, and vertices. Now the particles are coming from the vertices, right? So these kind of things are useful for simulating water, rain, or smoke, fog, whatever. So particle systems are useful for generating it, okay, for generating those kind of things. So phase, vertices, and a keyed particle system is again, I don't want to. I have done keyed particle system. Now it's rendering as an. It should render as icosphere. Okay, now I am getting icosphere. See, the particles are coming as icosphere. Are you able to see this difference?
Professor, how did you start the particles?
It's very easy. If you go to this tab.
Okay, I'm there.
Okay, yes. Let me delete this. Okay, I will add another cube. Shift
No, I
C.
followed, but when I do the same thing, but I don't see the particles. That's my thing.
Okay, see, this is this tab here, this one. Okay.
Okay.
And click new.
Okay.
Automatically particles will come.
Mine don't do that. Okay, let me try one more time.
Are you able to get? How about Chantida, Dennis, Jeremiah?
Yep.
Are you able to get this?
I'm still trying to figure out like what like the particles, but I think I'll be able to get it.
Mine also don't appear when I hit new particle.
So just a real quick thing. Are you running the animation after you add the particle system? His is running at the bottom. If you forget to press play, you're not going to see anything.
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot. So this red.
It's always the easiest things.
Yeah.
So you have to.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. So I'm animating for 300 frames. I can increase the number of frames. The time, 250 frames. I can make it like 600. But the particle system is animated for only. Then I think you can extend that. I don't know how to do that right now, but you can extend the time frame. So the by default is going to be 250 frames. Okay. So if you want to render the particles as a icosphere, what you do? Let me go back. 250. I don't know why yeah, here it is 250, right? So if I want to render as an icosphere, so the particles are coming as such. If you play the button, the particles will come. If you zoom in, it is going to render as a hollow or a circle, right? So what I did is that I went for object. You go to this render button, right? And go for, by default, hollow is there. You select object. I have added an icosphere in my scene. I don't know where it was added. See, the icosphere is here, right? This is icosphere. So now I say that I want to render as an icosphere. So I will select and I say icosphere. Now the particles are coming as a balls, icosphere balls. I can change the size of this icosphere here. It's 0.5. I can make it big also. So maybe this is looking like a hailstones, right? It's coming from this. Are you able to do this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, right. Now also, if you want, I will reverse, go to the first frame. This is the 0th frame. I'm pointing to the 0th frame, right? So 0th frame, and I can say this is my, I forgot what is the key for, what's the I for keyframes? Insert I is not working. Oh, I got to click I here. Okay. Insert keyframe. So I clicking on the object. This is my location keyframe. I'm setting the location to be this one. And so this object, right click, I on the keyboard, location keyframe. Okay, I want to change the location. And now I go to, let's go to some 140th frame. I select 140, right? And I move this object somewhere, randomly I'm moving. I'm trying to tell the options. I'm moving up, and I'm going to select the, again I press I on the keyboard and set the location keyframe. Now reverse this animation, go back to the first. Now you can see that object is moving as well, you know. Are you able to do this? Am I too fast? So there are several things, right, in Blender. Blender is a huge tool. You can create a movie in Blender. Okay, let me show how I did. I will go to my channel. Not my channel is which account? And your videos. Okay. This one was done again with the particle systems. Okay, this one was not completely rendered. This again, I
Professor,
think.
you're only showing Blender. You have to share your screen if
Oh,
you're
okay,
showing
okay.
us something.
Right. Okay. Sorry. Okay, I have to share the entire screen. Let me stop share and share the entire screen. Where is that share? Okay. So let me just select. So this one again I did with particle simulations, right? I didn't render completely. This is my particle system that I spoke. I developed this using the particles, and maybe other videos are there. I use particle systems a lot. I cannot teach everything, but I just want to give the basics, right? So I experimented and with particle systems. This is I wrote the code, and I don't think I have a. That snowman was not, yeah, here it is. This one again I did with the keyed particle system. This is called keyed. There is something called keyed particle system. So here all the objects are gathering the particles and forming the human object, and then it's all dropping down. So this one I used particle system for doing this simulation. And Blender only did this one, right? And this kind of things you can do with the particle systems. Whatever I showed you is the basics, right? I just showed you how particle system works, right? It's very interesting, right?
Yep.
Yes.
You can develop entire, and the one movie I developed was also on Blender. So this is the one. I just don't want to show you the entire movie. This logo design I did in Blender again, and this logo design is again I did in Blender. So this whole thing I did in Blender, right? So this was not particle system. I don't know what I forgot. And then I did this whole movie I did with node as compositing. I did this one. So basically compositing. So let me just show this. Okay. This one also I did in Blender. The whole shot was done in Blender. So whole thing, I don't have the green screen of that. So this was shot in green screen, the whole thing. So this was done in Blender. So the maybe I want to show this particular shots. I don't know whether you can. So this you know, background, the trees, this whole set I created in Blender, the movie I made, and then this shot was also me smoking the car. This was all shot in the green screen, right? So this one was shot in the green screen, and the car. So this shot also I was doing in Blender only. So all these objects were, I mean, so you can learn a lot in Blender.
So that's film image over a rendered Blender background?
Yes, exactly. It's a image I got. I can teach you green screen. This was green screen. This is called as green screen compositing. So I had several different layers in the background. So this car was a layer. This one was a layer, and there was a flight taking off. That was also a layer. So I think I had around 6 to 7 layers to render that shot. So this was all composited in Blender. Let me show that aircraft. That was the flight was done in Blender. So flight flying, I think where the, yeah, here it will be. The flight will be, I don't know where was that flight. The aircraft was coming, and that was also done in Blender. So I don't know, the flight was not coming. Where it's, I don't know which shot. You cannot hear the sound, I guess, but see that one was Blender. The one the flight was taking off, right? That was again animated in Blender, and I add this layer in the in this thing. I can teach you green screen compositing. It's not very difficult. I can teach you that, and we have. But right now, this is the interface. Okay, so selecting an object, n on the n for the properties. Okay, then to T for the toolbar. So the toolbar T, pressing T on this one, and here your animation. So you can animate. If I want to attach keyframe, see, let me rotate this object. Press R on the keyboard. I rotate this object, and I will insert rotation keyframe. Now the object is going to rotate and move. Okay, because it's here, I have to set the keyframe. I oh my god, what I pressed. I select this object and rotate, and I will rotate, and then insert I on the keyboard and rotation. Now I can see the animation that's going to happen. So you can see that the object is also now rotating, right, and moving. So setting keyframes and all these things are interesting. So I'm not covering the entire Blender. I'm just teaching the basic. So it's a very interesting tool. You can learn a lot of things on your own. Okay, now we have 4 more minutes, and let me show you another one. This one also, I mean, all this one was, even the cars shot I was making, this was done in the green screen. I shot the background differently. You can see that, you can see this is also merged together. So I did in Blender. So this background is different, and this is different. So he is actually not driving the car. He is just was shot in green screen. So that video and this video was merged together to look as if he was driving the car. So I done, and this one I did in when I was lock him in, like, I want to experiment with the body doubles, right? 2 people. I mean, not the what do you call it? No. So here is again I used Blender compositing. I did compositing, and I did so there are 2 people coming from, right? So those things
Wait, you could do that in Blender too?
What's that?
Oh, I actually didn't know you could do that in Blender as well.
You can do that. So yeah, so it was 2, but I didn't have enough frames, so I stopped. So I shot 2 these things. So I cut this frame, and so he stopped, right, because I didn't have enough frames. But
okay.
But it was it looks like, you know, coming from, I mean, it was, and it was good because I mean, it was a different effect. I stopped, so I thought it's a good effect, so I just kept it like that. So this I did in Blender. So I did a lot of things in Blender. It's a very interesting tool. Okay, you can learn Blender, and I didn't teach Blender because I was focusing more on what I was focusing more on uh, coding. Okay, and next class I'm going to focus more on coding. Okay, what you can do in Blender, let me go to my Blender projects, and so we will do this coding on Tuesday's class. Okay, and please, if you are the break, try to learn Blender. It's very interesting tool. Okay, Blender assignments. So flower. Okay, this type of flower creation, um, I wrote code. Okay, and I think you can write code, and I think Patrick Jason can print this flower at 3D. So writing code, and you can, it is all continuous. There is no breakage, I guess. It's all connected, so you can print this in 3D. You can write code like this. Okay, that's also very useful. And the one Vogel's model I asked you to do, so that also we can write code on Monday, not Monday, Tuesday. So you can see this is the code, and 137.5 you can see this nice pattern, right? So let me select all this, delete, and run this code again, run script. Now I can get this nice pattern. You already did in 3.js. Now you can do in Blender, right? You can write the code, and Python. We'll do this. We'll write code on Tuesday's class. Okay. I just want you to give the this one. Okay. So many things are Blender. Blender is a huge tool that you can create your own movie. You don't have to. It has editing software as well. You can edit, right? Video editing, you can edit, and motion tracking, you can track motion. Motion tracking I used to track a particular point in the scene. I used motion tracking. Like for example, this one this didn't come nice actually. This one I did in motion tracking only. So it didn't come because I mean, of course you have to do color grading, then only it looks real. So this one I did, this one I used in Nuke. So I was tracking this point, and there is like a collision and some aircraft flying, it collided. So I was creating this scene in Blender, and here we use motion tracking, right, to track that specific point throughout the scene. So this was motion tracking, and all this buildings got this doesn't look good because you have to do color grading, which is called DI in movies. Okay, I don't know what is called, digital something. DI, they do the DI so that there is uniform. There is no color. It looks fake for the reason that there is no blending of colors. There's this hard edges are there. So all these things you can do in Blender. You don't have to you don't have to, like Patrick Jason said, Maya was used, right? I also was practicing in Maya first during my PhD. That time Blender was not open source. I think Blender became open source in 2008. So before that it was not open source. Now you can do everything in Blender. All right. Okay, already time is up. So we'll write code on Tuesday's class in Blender. I hope you can learn more about Blender. If you don't understand, please watch this video tutorial again. I'll post this in D2L after this class. All right, guys.
All right.
Thank you so much. Have a nice evening.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Have
You
a
too,
good day.
Professor. A good one.
Yeah, you too. Bye.